Well, since it's Mother's Day, I've been thinking back to when I first became a mom, and I was in my early 20s, and all I really had to guide me was that Dr. Spock's book. Let me know if you had that book too. There was no Google and certainly no smartphone and no ability to do a quick search in the middle of the night. Just that book, along with the occasional tip from a friend or a parent. I still remember the first night we brought our daughter home, our firstborn, and she ensured her presence was duly noted, and she cried a lot, and we had no idea what to do. My husband and I sat there flipping through that book, frantically trying all the tips that it provided, hoping something within those pages would work. Of course, nothing did, and I remember how I immediately started to feel like I had already failed miserably as a mother. Looking back now, it's easy to smile at that memory and, just a little, but at the time it sure felt awful. While I was pregnant, I kind of just assumed that all of this would come naturally to me, that those motherly instincts would, just magically kick in, or at the very least that it would be a lot easier than it was. Maybe that came from watching too many TV shows like Little House on the Prairie, where everything always seemed to work out. And that motherhood looked so natural and easy. And that was not the case for me. But that first night was really, just the beginning of a whole string of moments where I, pretty much second guessed everything. I often wondered if I was doing enough, and was I doing things like swaddling the baby or burping it the right way? It just seemed like everyone was handling motherhood way better than I was. And that's one of the things that I think we just don't talk about enough, especially in the beginning. Motherhood can feel like this strange, deep mix of love and absolute uncertainty. You want to be a perfect mother, and dare I say, feel like you have to be a perfect mother. And that's a heck of a lot of pressure put on ourselves, isn't it? An impossible feat, really. I think that is one of the reasons this memory came back to me today. Mother's Day is, of course, a day of celebration, but it is also a way of bringing back those kinds of memories too. The uncertain ones and the exhausting ones. The moments when you are doing your best and it's hard not to think that it could be better. And in some ways, I think there's a similarity there with starting a new business, isn't there? I mean, if you think about it, both can begin with this mixed bag of hope and responsibility and pressure and a lot less certainty than you expected. You think you should know more than what you do, and you assume it would come more naturally. You look around and imagine everyone else has it all figured out, much more than you do. But then, over time, you hopefully start to realize a lot of people are in the same boat as you, learning as they go along as well. So that's been on my mind this Mother's Day, that young version of me trying to figure out motherhood with Dr. Spock as my trusty guide. So food for thought on this Mother's Day. And if you're a mom and a business owner, do you see any similarities between those two early days of motherhood and your early days of building a business? I'd love to hear about your stories so that no one else can feel like they are all alone. So that's it for today. Talk to you next time. Bye for now.